This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. We are here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I am joined by Ed Pereira of iVisit Boxing. Ed, it's a pleasure to sit down with you, pleasure to do this interview. Not many better places to do our first one. How are you doing?
Doing really, really great. It's I live in the UK. I split my time between the UK and London. Oh, London and the US actually, and it's nice to be here with a little bit of sunshine.
Yeah, we might better make the most of it because we won't get much of that as soon as we get back to the UK.
Exactly.
Obviously, Ed, you're becoming a very popular man, a very important man in the sport of boxing. You've got big plans. So before we come on to all of that good stuff, just give me a little bit of detail and a bit more of an understanding of your background and how you find yourself in this position now with iVisit Boxing, iVisit Media, and yeah, just take it away from your early days through to where we're at now.
Well, as you can see, I'm getting on a bit now, but I started in business back in 1997, first year of university. I went to Swansea Uni. You can hear by my accent, there's a slight Welsh tinge to it, and started in business then. First year of uni, set up a magazine, and it was an entertainment magazine. Really excited about music, loved business, always wanted to be in business. So we set up a magazine, and that's where we started the journey. Went from magazines, we grew into a distribution house, print distribution house, one of the biggest in the UK, distributing magazines and print for all of the big guys from the Mirror Group newspapers, they're called Reach now, and quite a few other big companies, and went from magazine distribution and print into marketing, and that's really where it got really interesting. So we were approached, and we've been working with the Welsh Rugby Union. We were approached by the Welsh Rugby Union to go and help them filling the stadiums, mainly the autumn internationals, and selling merch, and that was our first step into the world of sport. And after that, I think our success followed us, went around, and we went from rugby into football. We still work with some great clients. We've been working with Liverpool for many, many years, Everton as well. Did a few great years with Manchester City and Manchester United, and obviously have helped FIFA on a couple of their launches as well. So that's how we grew. So we developed and grew from our base originally in Wales and now in London, into a marketing company that kind of spans the globe, from Australia through to the UK, through to the States.
What's made you feel like you want to step into the world of boxing?
Well, I think I never planned to step into the world of boxing. Is probably the best way. I think as an entrepreneur, you always go where the opportunities are, and if somebody calls and asks you to do something, you kind of always say yes. That's the plan, isn't it? But we were approached by His Excellency's team to work on the Fury Usyk 1 fight, to help market that fight in the UK originally, and that's how we started work. It was, His Excellency has great vision, excellent vision, made a huge change in boxing, and has been an excellent advocate of the sport of boxing. Having been approached by him, it was a real honour to work on that first campaign for him.
Obviously, you've had involvement with a few Saudi-backed shows. We've spoken about that Times Square show, a great spectacle, but I'm sure there were many obstacles that you guys had to overcome with that one in particular. Talk to me about that one specifically, and the challenges you guys faced in trying to make sure it ran as smoothly as it could.
That's a really interesting question, because it was a project that from the word go was really super challenging. His Excellency had a vision, and the vision was to create a sporting spectacle, a one-of-a-kind event in Times Square. That vision was delivered to us by Dr. Hearn and the team at Seller. We were really excited to get our teeth around it. But as soon as we took the project on, we realized it was a mountain. We had to climb a mountain. Just to give you an idea, 43 agencies we needed to kind of get to agree on giving us the permit. So it wasn't a simple one agency, it's 43 everything from obviously the mayor's office all the way through to Homeland Security, which was the scary bit when you're being interviewed by Homeland Security. It's very scary.
Would you say that's the most challenging event you've worked on, or have there been others which would top that? Not necessarily even in boxing, just in other sports that you've worked across as well.
By far the most challenging event. You know, we've been doing really large scale events. As I said, for FIFA, we worked on the Olympics, multi-venue, multi-leveled campaigns and events. That one was by far the most challenging. If you just think about it, you know, we essentially shut down Times Square from 41st to 48th. There were road closures. The only other time that happens is New Year's Eve. So we achieved the impossible, really, and took a lot of blood, toil, tears and sweat, but we did it.
I know you guys have used this week to kind of launch iVisit Boxing over here and make people aware of your plans moving into 2026. I've seen your billboards all over the strip whenever we go out. We can't miss it. Talk to me about the plans then for you guys moving forwards and how 2026 will align for you.
Well, we're really excited because following on from that event, first of all, we never intended to be in boxing, but following on from that event, and we've been approached by a lot of other cities in the United States and actually across Europe. They saw what we did in Times Square. They saw that we stopped the traffic in any other senses of the word. We had hundreds of thousands of people turn up. And they want that same experience for their people, for the people that live in the city. And we're really excited to be working alongside quite a few other cities across the US in particular in 2026 to deliver a very similar style of event in their own backyard. So from San Francisco to Las Vegas to Detroit to New York, we are working alongside those cities to create some memorable boxing events.
I know obviously there are plans which you're making now and you don't want to give too much away, but with the San Francisco one in particular, obviously it was mentioned in the Boxing News magazine of the Power 50 list. You want to have over 100,000 fans to be able to attend that. Can you give me a bit more detail as to what you're hoping to do for that one, and will that be the first of your events?
That's really another good question. Yes, I was inspired when we were working through the plans. I was inspired by the scale of the space. So when you look at San Francisco, it's an incredible city with an incredible community. And the spaces available in San Francisco are incredible as well, but also the boxing history of San Francisco. And that's really where it started. It was the scale, the space that we have to play with, but also history. So we started to kind of look back in history. And we landed in 1941, and that was when the world record was set in Juno Park in Milwaukee, 136,132. I think that's the number, maybe a little bit less, 135,000. Anyway, I thought, you know, why not? Why not go for that shot? We have the space, we have the ability to do it. We kind of did it in New York, so really inspired about that. And then obviously we're sitting in Las Vegas, the home of boxing. And people ask me why we chose Las Vegas to launch the brand. And the reason is that it is the home of boxing. I was also inspired looking back in history at those old Caesar's Palace fights, the ones under the lights, you know, under the stars. You see those fights, those videos, and I was young and I was watching it on television. You see those great fights of the 80s where it was Showtime and show business and Hollywood came out for it, right? So for me, it was the most exciting thing was to kind of do our first event. Won't be in San Francisco, it will be here in Las Vegas. We're really excited. Here in Resorts World, which is where we're sitting, so it's a great place. It's a fantastic venue, a fantastic resort, fantastic property with a huge TV screen, which we're really excited to kind of get our grips on and do something with it in the fight night. So yeah, first fight will be here, second most likely San Francisco, but there'll be a few in between and after.
Obviously the boxing world's littered with various promoters, fighters. It's a big old sport. how do you see yourself positioning yourself in that sense? So will you be looking to make it a collaborative effort with so for example, you might need an Oscar De La Hoya, an Eddie Hearn, a Frank Warren, or somebody to maybe be the voice at press events, or will you be stepping into that position yourself? What can you tell me on that side of things? And trying to entice, I assume you want those high level names at the peak of the sport to come and box on your events.
Yes, it's a really good point that I think I'll unpack that for a little bit. The first one is I've always been behind the curtain, right? I'm not an in front of the curtain person. That's not what I set out to be. I am a behind the curtain person that gets things done. And I don't want to be a promoter either. That's a very specialist job, right? And there, you've mentioned all of the top promoters out there. You look at Frank Warren, and you look at Eddie, and you look at Oscar. These guys are at the top of the game, right? So, absolutely, I think it is a collaborative approach. I want to work with all of the promoters. I want them to be a part of this. I think one of the key things of having worked in Times Square was that collaborative approach to that promotion. You know, you had Oscar leading, and Eddie was there as well, the integral part of the success of that event. So that's it. We're taking that New York Times Square vision and putting it out there as a model to work with. So, and not just one promoter. You know, we'd like to work with everybody.
How important is that? You know, you mentioned they work with everybody. Obviously, you've got these big plans for the events you want to put on. Boxing, it's full of powerful people. Everybody likes to say, "I am number one." So, how will you find that challenge of trying to keep everybody happy and sharing the pie between everybody?
That's going to be a real challenge. That keeps him up at night, to be fair. I think the good advantage to that is that I don't want to be number one. You know, I'm not in the game to be number one. I'm in the game to make the biggest fights in the biggest events possible. So I think it's going to be, again, I love that word collaborative. It's going to be a collaborative approach to sit everybody around the table and to work to everybody's strengths, right? So I think that's going to be really exciting, a really exciting challenge.
So do you see kind of iVisit Boxing then becoming, I know it's a collaborative effort, but it's looking to lead the way in that marketing sense and lead the way in boxing to put on these big events?
Look, I think anybody will know that I am not a boxing man. I'm a marketing man through and through, right? I'm sports, I'm marketing. Filling stadiums runs in my blood. It's run in my blood since the beginning. And ultimately, it will continue to run in my blood. So I am a marketing man. And I think, that's the vision, isn't it? To use that marketing knowledge, the ability to fill stadiums, the ability to get people to buy into a story and to want to be part of that unique story. I said in that interview that I wanted to be a purveyor of I was there moments. That's essentially what we want to do. We want to create 6, maybe more, maybe a little bit less, but definitely I think around 6 I was there moments in 2026.
When you look at kind of your long-term goal then and ambitions, what would you say that is in a nutshell? How would you summarize what you want to achieve now that you're stepping into this position?
I know we're going to have 6 great events. I'd like to achieve in one of those 6 events, and I know this is, what do they say? If you shoot for the stars and you end up on the top of a mountain, it's good. So I'm going to shoot for the stars. I'd like to get 1 Rumble in the Jungle or 1 Thrill in Manila. That's what I'd like to be a part of. Obviously, that needs a huge amount of luck. It needs the promoters to be at the top of the game because it's all down to the promoters. And as we learned in New York, it needs the boxers to come out and deliver, right? That's what we're looking for, just 1. Of those 6, just 1.
So I know you'll be putting all these plans in place now. You know you've had a lot of meetings this week with various people who you want to work with. But when can everybody expect to see some type of like an announcement on that, when that first event will be and then progressing later into 2026?
I think we're looking for an announcement over the next couple of weeks or so, with a big press conference scheduled in for November. So we're really excited, beginning part of November, to kind of announce a big press conference.
Ed, obviously, I'm sure you're aware, whenever somebody comes into the sport of boxing and they've got grand plans like yourself, a lot of people want to know about the finances behind it, or where's the money coming from, what's the root of it. Not sure if it's something you can kind of divulge with me or give me a little bit of detail around, but yeah, where's the backing going to come from all of these events?
Well, I've been in business for 25 years, so I built a very successful marketing business with really great clients that have been supportive. So a lot of that money comes from the business that we built and the services that we provide to not just sporting organizations, but public sector, private sector. We're still one of the biggest print distributors in the world, biggest in the UK by a long way. One of the biggest media owners in the UK. We're really proud to be a media owner, to be classed in the same level as JC.co and Global. So that gives us a really strong financial backing for that. But ultimately as well, one of the key things that we're bringing to the sport, which is a positive to bring to the sport, is a different way of operating. We're born in public sector work. We're born in private sector work. So we've managed to put around us a group of 3 or 4 mainline sponsors, major sponsors that are coming from the world of Formula One, that are coming from the world of football or soccer if we're here in the US. And these guys are really excited about the marriage of what we do for them on a day-to-day basis, but also to the sport of boxing. They see a huge opportunity. So yeah, we've got 4 or 5 really strong sponsors that are actually moving their money over from major sport to support us.
One thing I can see, Ed, is obviously your passion, which seems to be growing for boxing. I know you say you're not this out and out boxing man that will sit there and see absolutely everything that's going on, but one thing that's evident with anybody is when you come into the sport, it grabs you, it captures you, and it doesn't let you go. I've worked in boxing for 12 years. I can't imagine kind of leaving it anytime soon. When you first stepped into boxing, what captured you about the sport?
You hit the nail on the head. The passion. Wow. 2 things that I love about the sport. It's the heart that everybody that's involved in the sport has for this sport. Number 1, it's that heart. Number 2, it's the grassroots of this sport. I've worked in cricket, I've worked in football, I've worked in rugby, I've worked in tennis, and they all have amazing fans. They all have incredible fans. But the grassroots of this sport is something else. Going to the gyms, meeting the people that are sometimes doing great work for little or no money. That build-up of that whole structure in which it sits is one filled with heart and kindness and incredible passion for the sport. And you can't help but be excited by it. You can't help but be inspired by it. Right from the top of the sport, if you look at His Excellency, the passion he has for the sport, the ideas, the creativity, the investment that he's put into the sport, is passion. You can see it in what he does, how he operates, all the way down to a cutman or a janitor of a gym. Through every stage of boxing, it's passion. How can I not get excited? How can I not want to be in the sport? It's crazy. Of course I want to be in the sport. But I respect the fact that I'm new, and I respect the fact that I don't know anything. That's why I want to surround myself with people that do and have the same amount of passion to create great, unique one-off events.
One thing you mentioned at the start of that answer is the grassroots of the sport, obviously those young amateur boxing clubs and what have you, and just those who just go to a boxing club just to kind of keep themselves off the streets, stay out of trouble. I know you've done a lot this week out in the communities, visiting those types of gyms. Do you have plans, or are you looking to put plans in place to try and help the grassroots side of the sport and to keep that growing as well?
Absolutely. Look, whenever we do a campaign, be it for the Welsh Government, be it we're doing a campaign at the moment in my other side of my work, for iVisit Media, we're doing a campaign for the anti-knife crime, building from the ground up is really important. You can't do anything if you're top down. You have to be bottom up, right? And ultimately, that investment into the bottom up level is needed. And sometimes it's time, sometimes it's a spotlight, but sometimes it's money. And how we get that money down there, how we invest in the grassroots, how we invest in the community gyms, how we invest in these great people, that's important. So for us, my team is built on building things from the ground up. So we will spend the same amount of time creating a massive event at the same time as working in the community. So that's really key for us.
Could you see a long enough term vision that maybe a gym or a young underprivileged child that maybe you guys back could end up being one of those first to lift a world title above their head?
Absolutely. You know, I was very, very proud to have been, through the system and the entrepreneurial system in Wales. And I was proud to say that I'm an ambassador for the Welsh Government for entrepreneurship. And I always say when I go into the schools to talk to school kids to say, look, you can do it. You don't need money. I didn't come from money. You can build your own dream and you can deliver it and be successful. I always say to them, if only one of you, of all the people I speak to, if only one of you is successful, I'd be really happy and I would have done what I wanted to do. I'm going to follow that through into boxing, absolutely. If only one person that we help to bring through the ranks, if only one person we inspire, we don't even have to be funding him or her. If we just inspire them to say, I want to fight in one of these huge events in Vegas or I want to break the world record in San Francisco, then that's my job. I'm happy.
Ed, it's been a pleasure to do this interview today. First one of many, I'm sure. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your meetings.
Fun. Well, yeah, I'm doing three dinners a night. A night at the moment. So yeah, I've put on a lot of weight over here, and hopefully get back home and start losing some weight.
Well, Ed, I hope it's been a productive trip so far, and there's more to come from you. Thank you for speaking to me on Boxing News.
No, thank you.